Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another new series that I'm starting up on the channel here. We're going to do some Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a pretty big Magic the Gathering fan. I've been an avid Magic player for almost a year now. Since last October, I really got into the actual card game itself. A buddy of mine and I went out and bought a whole bunch of fat packs. You get a bunch of booster packs in it, and we opened them up, and it was a ton of fun, and I started going to Friday Night Magic and doing booster drafts and sealed decks and pre-releases and all that good stuff, and I've just been having a blast with it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Because, you know, excuse me, you know, I always had this fear, like when I started playing Magic the Gathering, like it would be one of those super nerdy things where everyone's like, just the, you know, the stereotypical, like, big dudes eating Doritos in their mom's basement, and like, I'm gonna cast Magic Missile! Do two damage to your elf! That's a giant exaggeration on my part, and I apologize for that, but, you know, that's kind of the stigma that sometimes these games get. You know, it happens to Dungeons & Dragons, it happens to Magic the Gathering, it happens to all that stuff, you know? And it blew me away, like, how different it is. It's just like playing a card game with regular people, and yeah, it's super nerdy. There's elves, and there's fantasy stuff going on, and there's sci-fi stuff, and that's all awesome. That's why we're nerds. That's why it's so cool. But underneath it all, it's like this really deep strategy, math. Did I say meth? It sounded like I said meth. Math-based thing, you know? And it's really enjoyable, and I hope you guys like it. If you've never played Magic before, that's okay. I'm here. I'm going to help you guys through it. And if you have questions, put them in the comments, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. I don't know all the rules 100% if you have some crazy question. Yes, we're going to do the tutorial. And if you guys have played Magic before and you don't want to watch me play through a tutorial, feel free to skip this episode, but I'm going to do that for the people that haven't played Magic the Gathering before. Basically, you're a planeswalker, and we get to cast spells and summon creatures. See, it sounds super nerdy already. And duel other planeswalkers to gain power and glory, which is awesome and not nerdy. Everyone wants power and glory, right? You and your opponent each start with 20 life. If a player's life is reduced to 0 or less, that player loses the game. There are other ways to do it too, which we'll get to. This is your library, your deck of cards, right over there. Contains all the spells you use to battle your opponent. And like I was saying, there's other ways to win, like reducing that library to 0, but we'll get to that when it comes. The game is played in turns, and each turn has several phases. As you can see, they go along the top there. Pretty self-explanatory. Attack during combat. Play cards during your main phases. You start the game with 7 cards and draw a card at the beginning of each turn. There's more to it than that, but for now, that's the basic way of how every game starts. Let's go ahead and look at a card here. We got Duskdale Worm. There's the name up in the left, the mana cost in the right. You can see this one requires 2 green or 2 forest and 5 any mana. Creature, type of creature, it's got trample, there's the flavor text. And then the power and toughness down in the right here. 7 power, 7 toughness. Power is how much damage it'll do. Toughness is how much damage you need to deal to it to kill it. And yeah, and then some sweet art because it looks cool. On Chandra's turn, she plays a mountain. Good for her. Now, if she had anything, like any creatures that cost 1 mountain, or 1 red mana, she could cast that, but I don't think she does. She doesn't. You can play 1 land on each of your turns. Lands give you the mana you need to cast your spells, which hopefully we'll get to do here fairly soon. Like I said, this guy requires 7, so it'd be a while before he could cast that. Chandra's second turn, she plays a mountain and then casts a creature, so we'll see what she puts into play here. Okay. Goblin Piker. 2-1 Goblin Warrior. 2-1 meaning 2 power, 1 toughness. Once he'd worked out which end of the thing was sharp, he was promoted to guard 2. See, the flavor text sometimes is really good. That's a good one. Because goblins are stupid, you know? They're dumb. They're also ticklish. Tickle, 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 tickle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. He hates them. Okay, we drew Grizzly Bears, which is going to require 2 mana to cast, but we're going to have to play a forest here before we can cast it. Grizzly Bears. Look at him, he's taking that tree out. This dude's like, I won't take the tree out. And Grizzly Bear's like, nah, bitch, this is my tree. Whoa. Let's just cast it. I let one slip there. Yeah, when you use mana, it becomes tapped, as you can see down here. I tapped it. I always tap it. To the right, just a little bit. On Chandra's turn, she plays a mountain and then casts Shock, targeting your Grizzly Bears. That is some bullcrap. I don't like it. Yeah. Shock deals 2 damage to target creature or player. And Grizzly Bears is gonna die. And there it goes. And now we probably get hit in the face. When a card on the battlefield is destroyed, it goes to the owner's graveyard. Instant and sorcery spells also go to the graveyard after their effects resolve. So as you saw, her spell went to her graveyard up here. And now she's attacking with the goblin. It has 2 power, so it deals 2 damage to you. And we're just gonna have to take it. We're just gonna have to tough it out. He's gonna poke us. Any day now. I don't know why it's taking so long. Ow! Face! He cut my face. My beautiful face! You've drawn a creature that costs 3 mana to cast before you can cast Trained Armadon. We gotta play another forest here. Armadons are trained to step on things. Enemy things. He kind of reminds me of like the Jawas from Star Wars. Right on his big elephant. That's cool. So sweet, we got a 3/3 creature. And that should stop his Goblin Piker as long as he doesn't have any more like shocks or anything. Or she, I mean. So she's just gonna play a mountain and then attack. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna block that. And we're just gonna punch that stupid goblin in the face. Or stomp it. If you have an untapped creature on the battlefield, you can assign it to block a creature that's attacking you. Meaning this guy. So he's a 3/3. Go ahead and block that 2/1, and we should be good. Goblin Piker has 2 powers, so it deals 2 damage to Trained Armadon. At the same time, Trained Armadon deals 3 damage to Goblin Piker. And provided she doesn't have any spells, it's gonna die. And just go to her graveyard. And our creature should survive. 2 damage isn't enough to destroy it, so it stays on the battlefield. Oh, that was a good sound. Boosh, right in your face. That was a good punching sound. At the end of the turn, any damage dealt to creatures is removed. So then next turn, she would have to deal the full 3 damage to kill it. Your turn has 2 main phases, one before combat and one after. You can cast spells during one or both main phases. You can also cast spells at other times too, depends on what the card says, but during your combat phase, you can attack your opponent with your creatures. So we're gonna go ahead and probably kick her in the teeth with this Trained Armadon, with this big elephant dude. How's your face feel? Is that tasty elephant foot? There's no limit to the number of creatures you can have on the battlefield. I want to play my land. It's a good idea to play a land each of your turns. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. On Chandra's 5th turn, she plays a mountain. Is that it? That's all she's gonna do? Looks like that's all she gets to do. Instants are cards you can cast at any time, even after your opponent casts a spell, but before it has had its effect. As you play more games of Magic, you'll know the best time to cast an instant. For now, hold on to your giant growth. Now, what they're referring to there is something called the stack, and we'll get into that. When you cast a spell, it goes on the stack, or if you trigger an ability, it goes on the stack, and then you can do something in response to that. For example, cast my giant growth. But it wants us to just continue. You can choose to attack your opponent with any untapped creatures you've controlled since the start of your most recent turn. They didn't really explain that, summoning sickness. Now last turn when we cast grizzly bears, they had summoning sickness, so we couldn't attack with them. It takes a turn for that to go away. Not all creatures have summoning sickness, and hopefully they'll explain that. Oh, good. She's casting Incinerate. Incinerate deals 3 damage to target creature or player. A creature dealt damage this way can't be regenerated this turn. Yes, I think toast is an appropriate description. That dude is getting toasted. So now I think we get to use this giant growth. Chandra has interrupted your attack and cast Incinerate, targeting Trained Armadon. When it resolves, Incinerate will deal 3 damage to Trained Armadon. However, we have a trick. We're gonna use giant growth. So we just gotta pause it here. And go ahead and cast that, targeting our elephant dude. And there you can kind of see how the stack works. Our spell is going to resolve first, make our creature a 6/6, and then her Incinerate's going to hit it and not do enough damage to kill it. So this is where the strategy comes in. Knowing when is best to cast cards like that. Oh! Boosh! Crunch! Made a good slicing noise. Thanks to your giant growth, Trained Armadon took 3 damage and wasn't destroyed. Plus, it dealt 6 damage to Chandra this turn. In your face! It's a good idea to play your land. If there's one thing you take from this tutorial and you start playing Magic the Gathering, it's to remember to play your lands. God, I can't count how many times I've forgot or my opponents forgot. On Chandra's 6th turn, she plays a mountain and then casts Shock, targeting your grizzly bears. Jerk face! She's gonna kill our grizzly bears. They are gonna be crispy fried bear meat. Zap! Tasty. Smells delicious. The battlefield smells like cooked bears. You've drawn an enchantment. During your main phase, you can cast an enchantment the same way you would cast a creature. An aura is a type of enchantment that you can attach to another card. When you cast an aura, you must choose a target for it to enchant. Blanchwood Armor. So, we got an aura that is going to give our creature +1/+1 for each forest we control. Wow. That's pretty sweet. And this dude's gonna punch things in the face. He's got a sweet beard. It's kind of looking Wolverine-ish. So we're just gonna slap that on our elephant. Enchantments stay on the battlefield and continue to have their effect as long as he's on the battlefield. So now we get to play another forest, and now he's a 9/9. And that's enough to kill her. So now we get to win, provided she doesn't have any tricks up her sleeve, which I don't think she does. I think this is going to be the end of the tutorial. Psh! To your face! Yeah! Eat it! We won the tutorial! Yes! If you guys are wondering, Compact Rhombus is my Steam name. So you guys can come bug me on Steam. I don't know what it is about rhombuses. I don't know where that started, but Yeah, I just randomly picked that name on Xbox one day. When I was playing Halo with a buddy, I had to make an account, and Compact Rhombus was the one that popped up. And I've stuck with that for a long time, and then I changed my Xbox One to Rhombus Bomb. But that's, you know, that's another story. Anyways, it's totally unrelated to this. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I think I'm going to play another match quick, but that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to take a quick break. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot about Magic, and I hope you join me for the rest of this series. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And, yeah. So next time we'll go in and we'll play an actual match and not a tutorial. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. Leave me some comments. Tell me what you thought. I'll see you next time.